Run in here. Get my little setup. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Be Unspecified podcast. I am your host, Miles Free, and joined alongside me today for my guest is Gavyn Schmidt.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going, Gavyn?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing just fine and dandy. How has your summer been? We're just getting into summer. School's ended about a week ago.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, very nice.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy the nice weather and getting outside and being with friends and all that. So it's going pretty good. How about you?
Oh, it's going pretty good. I just my cousin had a wedding up in Oaks, North Dakota, so that was cool. Did that. Definitely a late night. Well, a late morning, I should say, because we went. Oh, yeah. But no, that was fun. Yeah, the way I gotta kind of adjust. I mean, we went from winter to summer, so it's kind of like, oh, we're going from 60-degree days to 80-degree days with sun. It's like, whoa. But once we get to mid-June, I think we're gonna be like, all right, yeah.
We knew it was coming, but the winter made it seem like it wasn't gonna come.
Mm-hmm, yeah, I mean, when you still got snow in May, it's kind of like it's all hope lost, right? Yeah. So, how was your experience being a freshman? You're a freshman at the high school. How was that?
It was a decent experience, I'd say.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't really get the experience that everyone's told me I was gonna get. Just bullied by all the upperclassmen. That doesn't really happen.
Mm-hmm.
So
they just kind of like don't.
They just don't acknowledge your existence unless you actively go out of your way to talk to them.
Yeah. I mean, I noticed that a little bit too, being a freshman. Yeah. I have to agree with you on that. There wasn't too much. There definitely wasn't any shoving kids in the halls
into the lockers.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's fun. Now, heck, I'm gonna be a junior. You're gonna be a sophomore. Oof, time is flying by. Did the year go by fast for you?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, definitely. I think I had a lot of activities to keep my time going fast.
I say it went by fast for me too.
Yeah.
I think definitely once I reached like May, I was like, oh,
yeah, we're here.
It's over. But it did. The last day there was like people crying. People that are like, oh, I don't.
Yeah.
I think I've felt that maybe once or twice when I was in elementary school, but not. I mean, I haven't been like, oh, it's the last day of school.
Yeah.
It just never hit me. It was just like a regular day of school.
Yeah.
Probably because we had a lot of tests on the last day. I don't know who designed tests on the last day, but whoever did that should be fired because, no.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. How do you make like if you're gone the last day, how do you make up the test? School's out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Have to go in one random day and just take 5,000 tests.
Oh, no, that's not fun. But enough about school. We keep talking about that's over.
Yeah, that's over. That's over. It's summertime.
Yeah. Summertime. So what do you like to do in the summertime?
During the summer, I do stuff down at the Andrea Theater, which is
Newsies right now, right?
Yeah, Newsies. Very cool experience. You should definitely come see it.
Yes. If you're in the area, stop by the Andrea Theater. What are the performance dates?
End of June. To July 1st. If you're in the area, end of June to July 1st, stop by the Andrea Theater, Alexandria, Minnesota, downtown Broadway. Going to be a fun time. I know I'm going. I'm excited to see Gavyn Schmidt on that stage with your wonderful voice and your wonderful acting. Oh, my golly. Thank you, Miles.
Of course, this kid had the most impressive solo in the choir concert. I gotta say, it carried a little bit. I mean, I was like, it's better than some of the people in our concert choir, and that's the top choir. Not to throw any people under the bus, but it was better than me. So I mean, that's like, I'm like, well, yeah.
Well, Miles, you did pretty good too.
Oh, Gavyn, thank you. Yeah, I'd say, any you like boating or something? You get on the lake at all?
Well, I don't really get on the lake a whole lot, but I like to go down to City Park a lot and just dip my toes a little bit.
You're more of like a kind of dip it in the water type.
Yeah, unless it's like an event or something, right. I probably won't be getting in the water. Just I don't really like going boating and that stuff. I mean, I will with friends, but it's not something that I really enjoy that much.
Huh. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, that's actually interesting. You know, I don't think. Yeah. I mean, I'm probably in the same place with you. I don't think I'm going to spend my like a perfect day and going to include boating in it. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like swimming in the water, right? But yeah, so we are going to talk a little bit about this toy business that I heard of. Tell me a little bit about it.
All right. So me and my dad, he started a business about 7 years ago.
Okay.
With him and a couple work friends, and they just worked out of their office, and they sold these like toy things on the internet. They're like superheroes, and there's a whole like card game around them, and they just sold them on the internet. And they were like, okay, we're just gonna give this a shot, because my dad was always into that stuff, and he saw how they sold on the internet, and he wanted to give it a shot. So they started selling them, and they realized how much money they were making, and how much of a good business opportunity it was to keep going with this. But eventually, the work friends had a falling out. My dad started 2 other businesses, and then he just decided to be done with it. But then when we moved here, one day my dad was like, "Man, I'm really wanting to start another business again. Do you think that maybe you'd want to try and help me out with it?" So we started it from nothing. We started it from my house with a little circular table and a lamp.
That's the way to go right there.
And we just took pictures of, like, we didn't really have any of the old things that he had, so we just took pictures of the Legos that I didn't want anymore from, like, other Lego sets, because we saw that they were worth something on the internet too. So we just started throwing those up on our eBay site, and they started moving, and eventually now we have our own spot over by the courthouse. There's a bunch of like open spaces. We got our own spot there.
Hey.
And we got our own picture booth.
That's
whatever.
Nice.
We just take pictures, throw them up, and yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool to provide people the opportunity. I mean, mostly children, but I'm not excluding out the adults that like to, you know.
Oh no, it's mostly adults.
Yeah. That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, to see that like come together through the unity of like imagination and play through like a toy. As like, I kind of see it as, we're gonna go hit a real hard metaphor here. You know, it's like Thor, right? He used Mjolnir to channel his lightning. You know, people can use toys to channel their inner child, that imagination, allow them to see a different world and escape from their own.
Yeah.
Ooh. Hopefully that hit hard. Hopefully. Some people would just be like, that just flew right over my head. Yeah, but that's cool. And you have your own little spot too, over by the courthouse, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I gotta check that out. What's it called?
We don't really. It's not like a public space. It's more of like a private space. It's where we house all our inventory and where we take all our pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not really like a store. My dad is hoping to open up a store one day. That's like his dream.
Yeah. You gotta have big dreams.
Yeah. Another subject with the store is the customers.
Oh,
because there's always interesting interactions with the customers, because you never know.
You got some stories?
You never know who you're gonna meet on the internet.
Yes, that is true.
Story number 1. This was like close to the beginning, and my dad just left me on his computer unsupervised, and I was like, oh, I see a negative review. I'm just gonna see what this guy wants and answer it, send him a message. And his thing was like, you didn't send me my card. I was like, oh, perfect. I'm just gonna type, we did send you your card, thanks. And so I sent him that message, and my dad saw it, and he got really mad at me, and he told me that the negative messages, you just ignore them. Like, the negative messages, unless there's something like really, really horrible, like, hey, or like really, really minute, like, hey, you didn't send me bubble wrap in my package. You're like, okay, I'll send you some bubble wrap if you really want some. Like, come on.
Just yeah.
Or like if they're like really big, like my thing came without a box. It's just here now. Who knows how it got here? It's just here.
It's just on the doorstep.
And he told me that he would answer all of them, and if the time came, but yeah, I wasn't allowed to answer any negative reviews after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a wise decision made by your father based on how you said that first one.
Yeah, I haven't checked them since, and like, we only have like 2 negative reviews and like over 500 positive ones. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me, when I'm dealing with the negative reviews that I get here and there, it's hard not to take it to heart. You know, that's a hard thing, because I mean, if you look at, like you said, like 500 positive reviews, 2 negative reviews, what are you going to look at first? If you're looking at the negative reviews first, you're looking at it wrong.
Yeah.
You got to look at 500 positive. Like, that's 500. Like, that totally outweighs the 2, right? And I agree with you on looking at, like, if there's ones that's, like, really, really horrible, like, oh, shoot, I messed this up. Or, like, sometimes it's just constructive criticism that's, like, worded in a way that it's like, oh, could have been worded a little bit better. But I'm like, oh, I forgot to change the title slide, and it just says add title text here. I think that's happened twice. I'll just be watching the video and be like, oh, that says title text here. You know, that's not what I wanted that to say.
Well, that also could be comedic. So,
well, I mean, that's
not always a bad thing.
I definitely planned that. That is exactly what I was thinking. Yeah. But that's such is life. You're not gonna have a perfect, go about. But it's nice that you can have someone help deal with the negative reviews that you might have.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's with any business. I mean, heck, even the biggest corporations in the world, like Amazon, I'm sure that gets negative reviews.
Yeah, I'm sure, because, like, what business doesn't have negative reviews?
Can you negative review Amazon?
I think you can, just giving, like, 1-star reviews on things.
Like, because I know Amazon is, like, it's like a web to go to other businesses to possibly leave negative. But, like, I wonder if you can do Amazon as a whole.
I'm sure you can find a way
you probably
to give Amazon a
if
bad
there's
review.
A will, there's a way.
Yeah. There's some guy out there who decides that he absolutely hates Amazon and he needs to write a negative review. He will find a way.
Absolutely. He will indeed find a way. There was this one dude a while back who he absolutely despised Amazon. I mean, he would never use it at all, right? But he loved eBay.
eBay's like a different space.
Mm-hmm.
You go into Amazon, you're like, oh, this is like a grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
You go into eBay, it's like the Wild West. You can find anything and everything.
This was a Wild West type of dude, that's
and
for
like
sure.
You search up like the most random thing in the world. Like, you search up rainbow balloon with sparkles inside. You'll find people bidding thousands of dollars for a rainbow balloon with sparkles inside. It's absolutely crazy. Like,
the way people spend their time and money.
Yeah. But it's so interesting to me how everything works. It's like, you go in there and you can either bid or buy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's crazy. It's so different than like every other store.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a grocery store and an auction combined into one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is it confusing sometimes with the auction where you're like, oh, like, do you ever you shop on eBay, or you just use it as the?
We mostly use it as a storefront. My dad does all the shopping for the product on eBay.
Yeah.
So that would be a him question, but he's not here right now, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I bought in a few things on eBay, but I usually go for the buy it now because that's just the safest option if I really like want something.
Right.
But like, if there's like a big lot or something and there's only like one bidder and it's like got a $400 value, but it's only valued at $75 right now, of course I'll take a bid on it. Like, who wouldn't?
Right, yeah. You get started on that thing because you can get a real good deal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I see that. Dang, oh yeah. My father, actually, he won't use Amazon, right? He'll go to my mother if he ever needs anything off of Amazon. He'll be like, hey, I need you to get something off this. But he won't do it himself. Mm-hmm. Doesn't use it. And I'm like, okay. Like, he could easily just, use it, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Yeah. So you moved here from the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
Right. Kind of where at?
I moved from Hillsboro, Oregon. It's a smaller, medium-sized town.
Mm-hmm.
About an hour and a half away from the main city of Portland.
No, Portland.
I lived there from like birth to like 12 years old. It was a very abrupt move here. Yeah, definitely glad we moved here.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot nicer here.
Yeah,
people are a lot nicer here.
Yeah, you got that. The Minnesota nice is truly.
Well, yeah, not just that. There's like in Oregon, the homeless population is like through the roof.
Oh,
like
that's not good.
You turn your head and there's another homeless guy. You're like,
oh.
You're on a car ride. You're like, let's play how many homeless guys we can see.
Oh, you can even play the game
yeah.
too. Oh, that's
Portland's like the worst.
Oh, come on, Portland. If someone from Portland was watching this, someone official, please do something about the homeless population. Thank you.
Well, the thing is, they don't really want. They're not actively trying to help the homeless people. They're just like they'll figure themselves out.
That's not good.
But that's just not how it works.
No. Interesting.
Yeah.
And how is the weather?
The weather.
Like what is the average day in, like is it like similar to Minnesota?
No, definitely not. The average day in Minnesota is either extremely cold or extremely hot. So, in Oregon, it's constantly in the mid temperature, and then you get 1 or 2 days a year where it's extremely cold or extremely hot. If you get snow there, this much snow, school's over. Little minute piece of snow falls on the ground, school's done. You get a full day off of school. I remember one day, no snow even on the ground. We were just driving to the movie theater. It was like there was nothing on the ground. It was just our principal couldn't get off the hill because there was a little bit of ice on the top of it. It's crazy. It's like you move here and it's like there's 10 inches of snow on the ground and they're like, well, we're still gonna have school because we don't want teachers to have an extra day. So.
Yeah, that very much sums it up. That is interesting. So that is kind of when I was in Washington D.C. for the little school trip, right? The guide dude was talking about how there was once like 0.3 inches of snow scheduled to fall. School was gone for 3 days because it was over the course of 3 days. All 3 days they canceled. I'm like, no, because he was just baffled by how we can just live in the snow. We're just like, oh yeah, we just got like an inch the other day. An inch? He thought like something just blew up or something. He's what? I'm like,
yeah, it's crazy here. I heard that it was like wild here with the snow, but like I didn't know it was like this bad until like I've been living here for 2 years. It's like. I mean, I've gotten used to it. So.
Yeah, it was a kind of a big shift when you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
You just see people walking out T-shirts and shorts.
Yeah,
and stuff.
they're all in T-shirts and shorts. I got like 3 coats on.
Yeah.
And 2 hats, 3 pairs of gloves.
Yep.
Yeah. Another thing on the weather is it's very rainy there. It's always raining.
Okay.
So like, just on like your normal average day, it'll be 55 degrees, rainy, and maybe partly cloudy at some point through the day. Yeah, it's a very rainy place. So like if it was like here, but it had Oregon rain, there'd be snow all over the place.
Really?
But it just stays so warm there that the rain is like, it's just rain.
It's just rain.
All year long, unless it gets into one or two of those like really cold days when it starts to rain. That's when we get snow.
Yeah, it's I love the smell of rain. Like it's just when you walk outside and it hasn't rained yet, but you can tell it's coming. Like it's 100% chance, regardless of what they say. Like you can smell the rain. It's about to fall. Like that's a good smell. And then like after it's rained, you walk out. Oh, you get like a little shower and then you walk in post rain. Ooh. Wonderful combination because you like feel clean from the shower and then you walk onto like the clean earth that's just been cleansed by the fresh water that's rained down from the sky. Ugh, it's nice.
I learned when I moved here that you people like the rain a lot. In Oregon, the rain
people.
You people like the rain.
Minnesotans.
Yeah. I learned that you people like the rain because in Oregon the rain is just an annoyance. Like you planned a whole day at the zoo. You're like, we're going to the zoo today. You get there and you're like, well, the weather app said it was supposed to be sunny, but now it's raining and it's really annoying. It's like, to me, the rain is just an annoyance and it feels awful. But like, I learned from like Minnesotans that like when it's raining out, you get in your swimsuit and you go outside and you play in the rain.
Yeah.
But like, I'm like, I've seen rain almost all my life. I'm like, there's nothing special about the rain. It's just rain, and it sucks.
Yeah. Just like, shoot, it's raining, and then everyone else is just like, they're dancing around. They're like, they're
dancing in the rain, and I'm just watching them from my house, like shaking my head.
Oh, I swear, the rain is such a conversation starter. When I went to the wedding in North Dakota, my dad and my uncle immediately started talking about how much rain they got and how much they like. Oh, we need some more rain. Like, yeah, the grass is a little dry, but having to irrigate. It's like, oh yeah, we got about a quarter, but I'm stretching it if I say about a quarter. And like, all right, yep. They know. It's like for the past month we haven't really got like he watches the rain. Like we take notes of how much rain we've gotten.
Yeah.
Like this day we got this much, got none this day. And it's like there was a chance this day. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay. Like, it's either gonna rain or it's not gonna rain, or it kind of rains. The weirdest is when it rains with like no clouds.
Yeah, it's like just comes out of nowhere.
Like the first time that happened was a couple years ago, or the first time I noticed it was a couple years ago. Right, I was in the car with my mother. We were driving, and all of a sudden, it starts raining in the windshield. I'm like, huh. And then I noticed the sky was like pretty sky blue. And I'm like, huh. Oh, I look out the window. I'm like, huh.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's just there's no clouds.
Yeah.
I mean, there's clouds off in the distance way over there, but I'm like, where's the rain coming from? Like,
it just comes out of nowhere.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I thought, like the water cycle just like skipped a day or something. Like
they're having some lag.
Yeah. Technical difficulties with the water cycle.
Yeah. Other than the rain in Oregon, it's absolutely beautiful. Like
it is.
There's so many beaches down there. You go to. My parents got married at a beach. The beach that we liked to go to a lot was called Cannon Beach. It just had like these huge rocks out in the ocean. They were like gigantic. They're absolutely beautiful. They're pretty far out, but they're close enough to see how big they are from. Yeah, my parents got their wedding photo taken like in front of that big rock over there.
That's pretty cool.
The beaches are amazing, but that's only if you catch them on a good day. Because like you check the weather and it's like the beaches are the coldest part because that's where all the wind is.
Oh right, yeah, because it's supposed to wind coming out the water. Huh?
Yeah,
that makes sense.
So if you get a good day at the beach, it's absolutely wonderful.
Absolutely wonderful. That's good.
Another thing is here, there's no mountains, so you get a lot of wind.
Nope.
Down in Oregon, you have like a mountain range kind of close by, so there's no wind. There's close to none. So there's only wind at the beach because it comes in from the ocean. That's why you have to check the weather when you go to the beach. But like when you go anywhere else, it's like the wind doesn't matter because there is no wind.
You get wind in Oregon, you're like, oh,
yeah,
something's happening. That means there's a lot of wind. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
On my bike here this morning, I was thinking about that because I was thinking about what we were going to talk about today, and I'm like, I was feeling the wind, and I was like, it's freezing out here. If only we didn't have this wind. And then I remembered Oregon has no wind. That's why it's always the temperature that it says on the weather app.
That's interesting. Yeah. When I used to live in North Dakota, you never really notice how flat it is in North Dakota until you move to somewhere like Minnesota that has more rolling hills, and that's not even as big as a thing as like Oregon, where you got the mountains that you're talking about, right? But going back from Minnesota back to North Dakota, you're just like, gosh, there's nothing.
Yeah.
Like it's as flat as the table here.
Yeah.
It's like how, right? Like you got kind of like even the slightest little hill where you're like, right? You're trying to go up it. None of that in North Dakota. I swear, there's not a single one.
I remember when we took our big road trip here from Oregon to Minnesota while we were moving here.
Did you go on the Oregon Trail?
I have to add, that's been in my mind for like the past 10 months. We did not go on the Oregon Trail.
Dang.
It's definitely a stereotype. Have you been on the Oregon Trail?
It is
You're from Oregon. Have you been on the Oregon Trail? No, I have not been on the Oregon Trail. It's not a normal thing to go on the Oregon Trail.
If you live in Oregon, you're not spending your whole day going on the Oregon Trail.
Only 80-year-olds and like 40-year-old dads and their family of 4-year-olds go on the Oregon Trail. That's just the end of it. But on our grand road trip here from Oregon to Minnesota, we did pass through North Dakota, and it's like a desert out there. It's like straight desert. There's like one gas station every 15 miles.
Yep.
And like that's it.
Yep.
That's it. Maybe like a small city with like a McDonald's.
Yep.
And
if you're lucky,
drugstore.
Yep.
That's
enough to barely survive.
Yep.
Yep.
I don't know who lives out there, but like shout out to you because you must be living rough.
Yeah, that's yeah. Yeah, it's just like, whoa, because you're like, oh, you get to places like that are so condensed, and you're like, we could move some people this way where there's like nothing. We're like, it's overpopulated, and it's hey, North Dakota,
or the people who we hate. Well, I guess we'll just send them to North Dakota.
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. You're gonna love it. It's a all expenses paid vacation.
Once you take this bag off your head, you're gonna absolutely love it.
Beautiful open area for miles. You can.
We're gonna give you 100 acres of land. Yeah. That's just how much we love you.
Mm-hmm. You go ahead and do whatever you want with it. You'll probably farm it. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
What do we got today? Got the creme de lavender, steam pressed. Got the 20-ounce today. Normally I get the medium, but
beautiful.
Got up a little bit early today. Well, that's because I've been sleeping in for a little bit. It's summer. I can finally sleep in. I slept till 10 the other day. Oh my gosh, it's been months since I've been able to do that. Holy, I normally don't sleep in that late.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Yeah. On the sleep subject, are you an early riser or a late waker?
I mean, it depends. If I get into a routine, like during school,
yeah,
my mind was able to tell, okay, I get up at 6:45, right? And I'll wake up around then. Sometimes my mind will wake me up at around like 6:20, right? Or sometimes I'm really tired and won't wake me up at all, and then I need someone else to wake me up. But it's like, okay, I'll be like, I don't really want to get up, right? But I'll bear it. It's not like I cannot get up right now, otherwise some people are going to feel my wrath.
That's what I should say when I don't want to get out of bed. Thanks for the idea.
Yeah. About to go angry cat. Some people are just like, we need about 10 feet of space, otherwise you might die.
So you don't use an alarm?
No. I used an alarm, because, my parents will get up and they'll be like, oh, okay, well, we can get them up, And, once I'm adulting, then I can probably use an alarm.
Yeah.
But I used an alarm once, and then it, integrated into my dream to be like a nightmare. Like, it was just some bunny rabbit, that was, like, a giant, life-size rabbit. Standing up, right? Like, it's a humanoid rabbit that was, about to kill me. And then, the alarm started going off. And then it was like creepy music, where it's like you're in a hallway and all of a sudden you hear, a doll box, You're just like, nah, that's what it was. He just started cranking his head slowly. I'm like, oh, no. So I don't use alarms, man.
Yeah. I know my alarm is annoying, but I have to bear it because I tried going without an alarm, but I had to be woken up every single day because I just could not get up on my own. Mm-hmm. But it is annoying waking up every morning to a soft piano, just do. It's like I wake up to that every morning and I'm like, I'm gonna throw my phone across the room. Like, this is so annoying.
It's calm and
it's not calming at all. It fuels me with rage. I'm like, why did you wake me up at 7:30? And then I realize it's a school day. I gotta go.
You gotta go to school, and then that makes it even worse because you're like, oh, it's a school day.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. So you're not a morning riser then?
Well, here's the deal. I am usually a late waker. I usually, when I'm home, I usually wake up at, noon, maybe 1. Just because I go to bed late because I'm usually up hanging out with people and or playing games with people, other things. But when I'm with my grandparents, it's a different story because they're early risers. They wake up at like 5 o'clock every day, no matter what, weekend, whatever. They wake up and they have a cup of coffee and they just sit and watch the river outside their house because they live in Florida. They just sit and talk, and I think it's the most enjoyable thing in the world. It's just so comforting just sitting with them, talking about like the most random things, having just a great time in the morning. Like that's the kind of morning that I want every day. But the thing is that can't happen because A, my grandparents live in Florida.
Right.
B, they have a coffee maker. And C, it's not always like nice to just go out with my dad with a cup of Joe sitting on the porch just like, hey, how's the downstairs basement going? It's like
it's like, hey,
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah. So I mean, in some circumstances, I think for both of us, we can say in some circumstances it's nice to be a morning riser, and others it's like,
no.
No. It's like no morning today. No, let's just go right into
like today. I can tell you, I did not want to be a morning riser. Yeah. But I did. I did.
Same with me.
When you texted me, you go, I'm gonna be a little late. I set a timer for 5 minutes and closed my eyes for a little bit.
Yeah. I woke up a little bit later and I had to immediately leave. I think I had a 5-minute window. I'm like, I gotta go in 5 minutes. Would have been nice to have 35, but I probably should have set an alarm for myself. But again,
life happens.
Alarms.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Just some guy went off on the piano. Like, people were probably crying, but he's my alarm every morning, and I absolutely despise him.
It's just like, no. Yeah, well, hey, thank you again to Deja Blue for letting me use this space. Beautiful, beautiful space. Even greater coffee. Delicious stuff. If you're in the area, check out Deja Blue. Check out their Instagram page. Good stuff. Yeah. Well, Gavin, I think that kind of wraps up our podcast episode for today. Yeah. Such a great conversation. I always learn new things, even about people that are like, kind of closer to me, like you. I'm like, Oregon, this toy business thing. I'm like, what? Oh my gosh, it's such a fun conversation, and I learned so much, and hopefully, I mean, people that are listening and watching also can learn a little something. Like, I didn't know about Oregon having mountains. I thought it was just like Oregon.
Yeah.
Just
that random place out west.
Yeah, it's kind of like a boxy, like a little bit wavy box. There's a trail or something in it. It's got a trail named after it.
Yeah, there's a trail.
Yeah.
It's important some way, somehow.
Yeah, there's like a coastline.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Gavin, thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for listening. If you're listening on Spotify, please check out the Unspecified Show on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, please leave a like and subscribe and even comment. I like to read everybody's comments every now and then. So, yeah. Everybody have a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.